Holy moly.
Holy moly.
Holy moly.
Holy moly.
We went to IKEA today.
Oh.
And I gotta say, IKEA on a weeknight. IKEA on a school night.
Mm.
That's a move.
Yeah, nobody
That's
there?
a move. Gotta say. That's a little... nobody.
Yeah.
No line at the food. Got quick food.
Did you get a
cinnamon
roll?
No. We don't... There's never those there. We have, like, chocolate cake.
Oh, okay.
And, like, this little, like, pie thing. But it was, like, so empty that, like, we were the only ones getting food. And they were like... And the guy was like, oh, yeah, it's free to sign up as, like, an IKEA, like, family member. And if you do that, like, your food's... like the thing Lauren was getting, your plant meatballs are like $2. And she was like, oh, okay. So we got signed up for that, and then we learned that on Tuesdays all the food is half off for members. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we're just gonna go to IKEA to eat on Tuesdays apparently.
Nice.
This is great. What are you talking about? This is awesome.
Get a hot
And
dog?
we got some lamps. I always get the meatballs.
Okay, sure.
Meatballs.
I mean, you got a
Meatball fan.
Swedish meatballs.
Swedish meatballs with the jam and the gravy, the sauce and the gravy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I've
not big
ever
on it.
gotten food at IKEA.
What?
You
I've only
are
been to
missing out.
IKEA like twice. Also,
Gotta be changing that. It's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Uh,
Always makes me feel like I'm like put together.
yeah. If I lived closer, I would, but it's like a
Fair.
40-minute drive
fair.
for me. Yeah.
It's fair. It was 40 minutes before I moved to Jacksonville, so.
Yeah.
But hey, you know,
How do
listen,
you-
I'm just.
I was gonna say, how do you make your meatballs at home?
I don't.
you
I
not
haven't
make
really
meatballs?
made meatballs. No,
Oh.
we'll
Yeah,
do
me
meat
neither.
sauce.
What?
We'll do meat sauce.
I love meatballs.
I love meatballs too. I'm honestly, it's. The problem is, my mother makes the only meatballs that I really love. And so I'm like, I can try and make meatballs. I'm sure that'd be fine. But, you know, right now I'm okay with what we do. And plus like we use ground turkey because
Yeah.
Lauren doesn't do red meat.
Yep.
And ground turkey doesn't, I'm sure with like a little bit of stuff added in, it would
Oh,
ball
yeah.
up. But it's kind of like
No, it's
breaks
actually-
apart a little
No,
more.
it's pretty good. You can do like, I would get some breadcrumbs, right? And
Yeah,
then throw an egg in there too, and then you can,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's what I do. I got like Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, and then I do like salt, pepper, garlic.
I gotta try that.
I put a little Parmesan cheese in there too a lot of time.
Oh, I mean, I'm a Parmesan whore.
So,
Let's be real here.
and you gotta use the powdery stuff, not the, yeah.
Yeah.
You can use the
I'm
fresh
all
stuff,
in.
but the powdery stuff works a little bit better because it's like it mixes a little bit better, you know.
I'm all in on
I'm a
that. For our
meatball-
sauce.
Connoisseur.
Oh yeah, I can tell. We put this like, it's like called kickin' garlic, whatever. It's like a spicy garlic seasoning, and we put that in the sauce, and it always hits.
Nice.
Always adds a little bit of heat.
Mm.
I don't know if Lauren had the last bit of leftover, so I might have that for lunch tomorrow. It'll be the last bit. Sorry, Lauren. If you take it for lunch, because she's gonna listen to this in the morning before she leaves work. If you take this for lunch now, we're fighting.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Anywho, let's get this podcast rolling because Matt's probably even more hungry now.
That's
I actually ate before we did this, so joke's on you.
Oh my
What?
goodness.
Wow.
Bristol is
schedule
also
all
looking
around
on
for you guys.
in shock right now.
Gosh.
Bristol's like, he ate.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Matt, you're eating up
That's
that
so
hat,
good.
by the way, right now. Just saying.
I'm what?
You're absolutely eating up in that hat right now.
I don't know what that means.
Auburn.
Okay, millennial. Anyways,
Joe, I don't speak Zoomer. I'm sorry.
welcome
okay?
to the Fake Racers podcast. I'm Joe,
I'm Davey.
I'm tired.
and we
And I'm
can't
Davey.
thank you enough for watching and listening this week. After a fun race in Homestead, to say the least. Track,
Oh, yeah.
again, proving why it should be part of the championship series
Yeah.
of races. But, yeah, Kyle Larson wins at Homestead for the second time in his career. Alex Bowman made a mistake late, got into the outside wall. Matt Steelman,
Gave it to him.
the only person that is, like, in a very conflicted space as a Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman fan. What say you, Mr. Steelman?
I was gonna say, I mean, I'm watching that final and I'm rooting for Bowman, and then he makes a mistake, and I'm just like, I mean, this is still cool. It's just kind of not as cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed. I was on top of not really rooting for a Kyle Larson win ever. Not hating on the guy, just it's never like my preference.
Right?
Yeah.
He wins a lot. I really wanted to see Bowman get a win on an oval again, especially at Miami. I don't know. Yeah, I like seeing Bowman
running
win.
well, right?
And he was running well, and he gets,
People
he would have kept the B name alive.
Yeah, people give him so much crap. Like, oh, you're the fourth Hendrick guy. But you know what? I haven't seen Chase Elliott compete for any wins this year yet.
That's me. I'm not an Alex Bowman fan by any means, but I despise how he gets treated as far as like the other drivers in the Hendrick camp go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
just not fair.
I'm obviously biased because he's my favorite driver, but it's amazing to me how much people shit on him when it's like, oh, he's the fourth best guy. I'm like, yeah, he finishes like 8th every week. Like, where else do you expect him to finish? Like, the fourth guy on a team is not going to finish 4th every week.
Yeah.
Like, he's better than the 4th Gibbs car right now. He's better than the 3rd Penske car right now.
Like the 4th Penske car.
Oh yeah, sorry. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I expect him to be on par with guys like Daniel Suarez and Austin Cindric and those guys, and he runs with them, and he's not gonna beat them every week, but like, there's a lot of really talented guys in the field.
Yeah, he surpasses them most weeks.
Yeah,
right? And he's had a really good start to the year once again this season.
Yeah. It's just wild that like he gets so much scrutiny for being a good race car driver.
Well, yeah, because he's not Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
It is kind of like a situation where any driver that's in that team is kind of set up to fail. I mean, even Byron was kind of facing those.
And then we got
that same music for a while.
And then we got into the next gen, and he became a next gen merchant.
Basically.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it though. Like, when is Hendrick's fourth? Like, you look at the history of Hendrick's worst car. Like, you had the Brian Vickers years, and you had those 2 or 3 years where Junior was just running 20th every week. You had the Casey Mears years. Yeah, you had the bad Kane years towards the end, and it was like, Bowman's better than all of those guys. Like, it's crazy. So, I don't know. Anyway, that's my rant.
No.
You know who can't catch a break?
Who's Joe?
Ryan Blaney.
Oh.
Can't catch a break.
That was something.
His engine went kaboom.
It is kind of... it's kind of, like, interesting. It's fascinating that, like, we have this era of motorsports right now, especially in NASCAR, where, like, mechanical problems like that don't really happen that much anymore. And then Ryan Blaney blows 2 engines in a row.
Yeah.
God.
I think that's fantastic. Not for Ryan Blaney. I'm not happy for it, but I think it's very, very intriguing.
Well, and it's 2 races in a row, too, that he absolutely dominated.
Yeah, that too.
Like, led the most laps. I can't remember if he led the most laps, but he was the best car last week. And then everything that happened, Yeah. And then this week, it was just, like, to another level, fire shooting out of the exhaust and everything. Yeah, just brutal. It made the end of the race way more interesting, but yeah, like, it's been a pretty bad start to the year for Ryan Blaney.
Yeah. Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
All right, well, with a really good Homestead race, how do we get this to be the championship race? Is it just we wait? Or is it...
I mean, realistically, we wait, but there is, I feel like fans have been clamoring for it to be back, excuse me. And while I understand it's a very popular stance to, like, oh, NASCAR doesn't listen to the fans, yeah, they say that, like, it's very fun to be, like, negative on purpose. I do think that NASCAR knows what they're missing from a Phoenix finale and what they would gain from a Homestead finale.
Exciting racing?
Well, I mean, yes, but you know what I mean, right? Like I think, like, yeah. Anyway,
Tire
my point
wear.
my point.
Drivers being able to move around the racetrack, having more than one groove.
My point being, everyone has heard
But the infield
everyone's
sucks.
opinions about. The infield does suck at Homestead. I was looking at it in some of the overhead shots this weekend. I was like,
The
wow,
grandstand sucks too.
that's a lot of bad. But like, it's not like they're not listening. I feel like NASCAR, the new NASCAR that we've kind of seen the last several years, has done a really good job at listening to the fans and then doing in return what they can do to meet expectations. And I don't think the location of the finale race will be any different from that. I think it's just going to take some time because that Phoenix deal got locked in, and everyone was kind of like, "Oh, we'll see." And
Money.
every year, then money obviously. And every year it just kind of disappoints. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's just fingers crossed. There's rumblings, but like I think the best argument is to just watch Homestead and then watch Phoenix, and then be like, which one of these is going to determine?
But Phoenix was a pretty interesting race a couple weeks ago.
That's true.
Exception, not the rule.
Broken clock is right twice a day.
Actually,
Blind squirrel.
only right
et
once
cetera,
a day.
et cetera.
Shut up.
Okay.
Boo.
Yeah, I mean this race was great though. And it's really frustrating to watch, a race actually come down to a battle where somebody makes a pass, cuz I think Larson was going to still get by Bowman even if Bowman doesn't get to the wall there at the end. But you have so much interest where you have, Bubba kind of running down Bowman and Larson running down both of them, and then at one point Briscoe was running down all three of them, and you have this 4-car battle that's slowly converging, and then NASCAR's like, hey, what if we took one of these races off the schedule? So,
Ziggy! Sorry, I just was really excited.
Hi, buddy.
Oh,
Whoa, look at that.
Bub! Oh,
The first time he's ever listened to me.
Ziggy is now a main character on the podcast.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Ziggy, what
Just
are your thoughts about Phoenix as the finale?
Oh, yeah, he didn't like it.
He did not like
Not a
it. He
fan.
walked away from you. Oh, he's coming back. He's coming around to it. He's interested in something.
You can't stand on NASCAR 06 Total Team Control. So.
NASCAR, that's a good game.
Yeah, I
Good
was playing it
game.
on emulator. the other
Ziggy
day.
knows
hard.
what's up.
Yeah. It's got Jimmy on the cover.
Ziggy knows what's up.
Ziggy knows
Hell yeah.
what's up. In another turn of events where Matthew Steelman went from sad to happy again, Justin Allgaier stole a win from Kyle Larson on Saturday.
Absolutely did.
Yeah. That was, I know nobody's going to be feeling bad for Kyle Larson. I'm not trying to make it a sob story. That is brutal. That is such a terrible way to lose a race.
Getting your
but-
rear wheels lifted.
Yeah, and I mean, he was gone. How many seconds was he checked out by? It was 12 seconds, something like that. He was in another
I think it was
time
bigger
zone.
than that, too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Taylor Gray spins out late. That bunches everybody out. I think, didn't Austin Hill stay out on that last restart? Or was it just pit strategy? I can't remember. But
Who knows?
I don't remember.
yeah, restart, fiasco, Sam Mayer gets him out of shape, and it was just all over from there. But, Allgaier just jumped all over it. It was pretty cool.
Like the champ that he is.
We're really starting to see a turn in Justin Allgaier where, and obviously he won the championship last season. He's never been a slouch, but we're starting to see that critical kind of this is a term that gets overused, clutch gene develop, where he's finally starting to close these races out. Ignore Phoenix, but I feel like he's kind of becoming dominant, which he's always been good. He's never been dominant. I predict this could be a dominant season for Justin Allgaier if they keep putting together races like that.
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't even realize that it was 2 in a row until I just looked at it now. But yeah, he has been. It was the same thing with his drive at Phoenix, last year, where there's been a lot of these cases in that race, particularly where it's all right, Justin, you've got the tire advantage or whatever, go do it, and he hasn't done it. And then last year, he just straight up drove through the field and went and got it done, and then had to do it again on 2 restarts. And And like, there's obviously still been the sloppy mistakes occasionally. But yeah, like you said, I think we have seen a change in Allgaier recently.
Yeah, that whole race team.
Can I help you?
Ziggy agrees.
Yeah.
All right.
He's giving us his thoughts.
Can you police those late race restarts like that? I mean, is there anything that NASCAR could really do?
I mean, what do you police?
I don't know.
You know?
I'm asking.
I don't think there's nothing you can do.
No, I mean in the end, like, Sam Mayer's crime is trying to help Kyle Larson get going. You know.
Yeah.
It's because it benefits both.
I mean,
of them
that is a crime
for him to push Larson.
To be honest, like, why would you help Kyle Larson? I'm just saying.
Well, it helps you as well. But yeah,
does it?
Yeah. I don't know what you can do to kind of legislate that at all. Like, I don't think there was any misdeed. It was just, you know.
I mean, how you police them is you let Sam Mayer do some dumb shit like that, and then now he knows never do that because it just screws everyone up. That's how you police it. You let the problems become apparent to the people who are creating them.
Yeah.
I've been impressed with Mayer, by the way, so far this season.
He's been good in that car.
Yeah. Double Zero's been so-so, but Sheldon Creed again proving... I don't know if he's proven the haters right or wrong, but he's proven.
Proving not everyone can win an Xfinity race.
He's like setting the land speed record for like how close you can get to winning without actually doing
it. It's crazy. Yeah. But that Haas factory team, they've been pretty stout in the Xfinity series, I feel like, so far this season. Not that they weren't last year, of course, but because that program pretty much just got translated over to the new organization. But
yeah, and I mean, both of those cars were really, really fast last year for portions of it too.
Yeah, especially in the second half of the year, right? So I felt like they kind of picked up. Kyle Larson won the truck race Friday night. Yay, the trucks.
Dude,
that was a wild race, actually.
That final stretch was nuts.
Actually a wild race.
It was so weird because you have this late run where I think Heim was out front, and you had this kind of group of, I think it was Riggs, Larson, and I think Ross Chastain were all just like going at it. And Larson spins while they're lapping somebody and then goes all the way to the back. And then you have all this weird mixed up pit strategy where Chastain and Riggs are like out front battling for the lead. Corey Heim runs them both down and just checks out as soon as he gets into the lead. And then he starts having the engine cutting off issue, which was so weird. And I wonder if they figured out what was causing that. And so you're watching this whole thing and like, you're like, okay, Larson might get up to second because he was absolutely flying on that final stretch. And then Heim starts having his issue, and then you're like, oh my god, he's going to get there. Like, he's going to run all the way back up through the pack and get there in time. And unfortunately for Lane Riggs, they had an unfortunate stat they put up with like 3 to go, which is that he's been passed for the lead, or passed for the win on the last 2.5 mile races. And so fittingly it happened for a third time.
It did.
Just nuts. Just absolutely nuts, that final 10 laps.
It was actually, oh god, excuse me, good lord. Yeah, no, that was actually a really wild truck race, and like there was too much to keep up with. Like you did a good job of explaining it, but like what you're explaining with like Heim losing the lead with the electrolyte issues, that happened like 3 times in the last 15 laps. And he would drive back up to the lead, and then it would happen again.
Literally in the last 15 laps, it was like, oh, Chastain's going to win. Oh, now it's going to be Heim. Oh, now it's going to be Riggs. Oh, it's going to be Heim again. Oh, it's going to be Riggs. Oh, it's going to be Larson? Like,
Who was like 11, 20 laps ago.
Yeah, it was insane. Great race. Also, big shout out to miserable end of the race for Corey Heim, and then to add insult to injury because it was the driver's only broadcast, Carson Hocevar interviewed him post-race, which the Tricon team had a lot of fun with on Twitter. So,
that was funny. I forgot about that.
What a race!
Also, once again, extending the Truck Series run of races without an overtime finish.
This is weird.
This is the longest one since 2017?
Hooray.
Or something like that.
I know all streaks are
clock year?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Might have
Bring
been.
back the caution clock.
It was pre-stages. I think it might have been 2016.
Bring back the caution clock.
God. Yeah, I mean, all streaks have to come to an end eventually, but this is weird for the Truck Series to be like this.
We need to bunch up the field.
Yeah.
And it's been genuinely good races every time.
Yeah.
Joe, what you thinking?
I'm thinking about why we need to bring back the caution clock.
Shut up.
I think the caution clock is a great idea.
But keep stages.
Yes, exactly. Keep stages and the caution clock and the Phantom Dale Jr. debris yellows.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Dudes rock. That's the era of NASCAR I miss.
God,
Yeah,
I just
your driver
remember
was just winning all the time.
Well,
I
no.
just remember being on sim racing design and being in the race chats and ripping my hair out when people would talk about like, oh, the restart racing is really good, and I'm just like, yeah, it's not good racing though if you have to bunch everybody back up. Like if it's bad after 2 laps, it's bad.
No,
like that's not.
I remember
good.
saying that when they tried what became the NA18D package. I remember saying that in the All-Star race that happened. I remember like, guys, it was good for like 5 laps. This was not good, and everyone's like, that's great. They have to make that. I remember the pandemonium that caused. It was horrible racing.
And now we have what we have.
And now we have
stumbled upon a clip from Las Vegas 2019, which was when they debuted that package, and I think it was Boyer was talking to, or no, Boyer was still driving at the time. But yeah, whoever was in the booth was talking about like, look at they're in a pack. This is so good, and it's just literally everybody at 170 in a single file line, but they were closer together, so they were like, look how good it is, and I was like, I'm gonna fall out a window, dude. This is so dumb. Anyway.
Want to know who needs to fall out of a window?
Thermal Club?
Yes. IndyCar was at Thermal Club this weekend. Palou got a big win. It was a points race. It was a points race this year if you weren't keeping up. Half decent racing, but you wouldn't know because at some point in the middle of the race they started to have to show the NASCAR race because the broadcast broke because it was too hot for all the equipment.
As it turns out, the California desert still hot in March. Who could have guessed that?
Yep. At a track with little to no like professional infrastructure, aka a club track. A club track. A club track. A club track. A club track.
It's people's houses in the infield.
Why are we there?
Dude.
We did this last year, so I'm not going to do it again. But we got to get away from that.
Thermal Club is like everything that's wrong with IndyCar right now.
Yes.
Like genuinely.
A thing that no one asked for, that isn't going away, that provides subpar product, and no one likes it.
It was also too hot for the hybrid units.
It's awesome. That's so awesome, oh dude.
To talk about the actual race, like how much does it have to suck to be an IndyCar driver right now, not named Alex Palou? Because like, Pato Award, yeah, like it's. So I'm gonna derail this to talk about motocross real quick, but like you look at a guy like Kevin Windham, who was awesome and won a bunch of races but never won any titles on a 450 in his whole career, and everybody's like, oh, what happened? It's like, oh, well, he had to race against Ricky Carmichael and Chad Reed and James Stewart and Ryan Dungey and Ryan Villapoto. Oh, and those happen to be 5 of the 6 winningest riders of all time. You know, so it's like, where's the room for Kevin Windham to win? And if you're Pato Award, like that's how it has to feel. You know, you're like, it doesn't really matter if I absolutely dominate. This freaking guy from Spain is just gonna clown on me at the end of the race every single time. Like, and like it's the whole field that has to deal with this. It's just nuts.
Yeah, but I just want to poop on Thermal Club more. What in the world, dude?
Real and
what
factual.
In the world?
They're still trying to figure out if they're going to return there. I have a feeling they won't.
Hope not.
At least they shouldn't. Just because, again, it's, like Davey said, a club track.
Go back to Sonoma so I can watch IndyCar.
Or just go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Literally anywhere. The problem is, they don't want to pay promotional fees, or the circuits that are out there don't want to pay their promotional fees. So it's hard for them to find a place to go take this race, it seems like. So maybe, being on Fox this year will help. I don't know. We'll see.
Gotta hope so.
Gotta hope so. That's right. Anywho, let's go ahead and go from the shop. Rotating season finale is on the table between Homestead likely in 2026, Las Vegas in 2027, and then Phoenix back again in 2028 with a vengeance. Rotating between those three events, there's also the idea that there would be a 3-race final round starting in 2027. Thoughts, opinions? We got to get... Obviously, I think everyone agrees that you need to rotate the finale, right? You need to allow different markets the opportunity to host that event from year to year. Every other major sport does that when they have like a neutral site championship game.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Bring it on. I mean, we've spoken ad nauseum. We spoke about it earlier. We got to get away from Phoenix being the end all be all finale. If that's gonna be our finale once in a while, then that's something I can accept. If we get to have a Homestead or a Vegas, be that deal. As far as a 3-race final round, doesn't matter to me. I mean, if we're gonna have this system that's like this, we might as well just do the single race final round. Like, I don't understand what the difference is. It just feels arbitrary. It's not going to change much of anything.
Well, then it just goes away from your whole point system right now is based on, winning means the most and winning you're in, right? And now it's a 3-race round, so if I win all 3 races or I win 2 of the 3 but I finish last in the final race, I'm not the champion? And that'll be the argument that starts to take place, right? And you'll just see the erosion of the chase back to 10 races, and then it'll be back to 36, and that's probably what some people that we know want, but Tommy, you're not getting it.
Yeah. It sucks. Sorry, Matt.
You're fine.
It sucks that is what the NASCAR podcasters and that's what the people have been like talking about, because now that's the thing that's in everyone's ears. Like, oh yeah, that's such a good solution to this, and it's just not. It's just not. Like, I'd rather us go back to the 10-race chase with bonus points for winning and such, and like a regular season incentive. It just makes me so mad that's what the pundits landed on. That's what the podcasters. That's what DBC. That's what Dale Jr. Download. That's what Denny Hamlin on his show. That's what they all landed on. They all landed on this idea that's going to be the solution, and it's going to be exactly what you said, Joe. Someone's going to win a couple races in that final round and have an engine expire. It's going to be Ryan Blaney, and Ryan Blaney's engine's going to expire at Vegas in the last race of the season, and William Byron, who finished 3rd every race, is going to take that championship. And suddenly, everyone's going to wonder what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Matt. I just had to have a moment there.
I was going to say, I mean, it feels like a half measure, like you said, go back to like a longer form point standing. Because, like, I think there is a legitimate argument for, say, the original chase or for a full season points format. I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion either way. But it's like the typical NASCAR thing of like, we can't fully commit to something, so we'll just kind of halfway test it out, and then you never get a full feel of it, you know?
Yep. Yep.
So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, again, derail things, motocross. This week was a Triple Crown race where it's the best score across 3 races, and the guy who won the 250 race didn't win a single individual race, and it felt super underwhelming that it was like, oh. So Nate Thrasher was just 3rd every race, but because everybody else screwed up, he just kind of was like, oh, don't mind if I do, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, it's cool that you can mix it up like that, but in the end, it's just like, if you're Nate Thrasher, you're really going to go home and like, yeah, I showed those guys tonight. You know?
That's a good point, too, yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, it somehow makes it feel more empty, you know?
Yeah. Well, even then, too, like you mentioned, like, let's say 3 of the guys have a bad race in there, and one guy can just kind of cruise his way at the finale, you know? then we're back to, a season finale like 2008 where Jimmy Johnson just had to not screw up, and that's all he did.
Yeah. Like that could
It's
theoretically happen every year now.
Yeah.
And
I'm not saying that's inherently a bad thing, but that's not, that's when the idea of this is let's make the championship finale thrilling, but also make consistency matter. And it's like those are kind of contradictory ideas,
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody could, to this day, I don't know why everybody complained about Matt Kenseth's 2003 title. I really don't understand.
Because they only won one race.
Big deal.
I don't know why anyone complained about the chase.
Yeah, Alan Kwiecki won like 2 races, and everybody loses their mind over that championship run.
Maybe we wanted to get rid of the chase because we had to stop Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah,
and historically he was not good at Homestead. So yeah, one race championship. Let's do it.
And then he
only took 3 years for him to screw that up.
Yeah,
so I was thinking about that. He
needed Carl Edwards to get absolutely punted by Joey Logano.
He didn't get punted. He wrecked himself. Let's be clear here. By the way, this Carl Edwards, this little like rewinding of the clock with the Carl Edwards thing. There's a lot of people been talking a lot of schmack since Carl Edwards did his little interview, feeling all sad about it. The man ran himself down to the apron. Should the caution have been called? That's up for debate. Whatever. But the man ran himself down to the apron and fenced himself off of Joey Logano's front end. No, he did it to himself. Wah, wah. Whatever. Baby.
Do people really
Carl
think
Edwards.
he's like blaming Joey Logano for that?
No.
People
blame Joey Logano for it.
People blame Joey Logano for it.
Like,
also they're like, oh, Carl Edwards, oh, he's so lovely.
He's such a nice guy.
Carl Edwards. Shut up. I don't care.
All I would say is like I think you can feel bad for Carl Edwards and when he screwed himself, but like I don't think he's ever acted like he didn't screw himself.
I have 48 good reasons not to feel bad for him.
Yeah. I don't know. I hate NASCAR Twitter so much. God, what was I gonna say? I've completely. I was gonna mention. I was thinking about the 2010 finale the other day, and I remember like leading up to that how they talked about like Jimmy Johnson's never been good at Homestead, and that was the first time he ever got a top 5 there, and it was the only time he needed to, and it was like, yeah, man. When you go into the finale with the points lead and you just take care of your stuff, like yeah, he's not gonna push it, and then the first time he has to win the championship, what does he do? He goes out and he wins, and it was like,
yep,
yeah, man, like that's championship racing. Like
that's exactly what that team did, like all the time too. Like my favorite radio messages I would listen to from that team back in the day were like Chad just telling Jimmy like, "Hey, hold like a 3-second gap here," and Jimmy's like, "Okay, sure shit," holds it there, like doesn't push any harder than that. It's crazy. Anyway, we're off topic.
Austin Hill's gonna run 5 Cup races for RCR in the 33. What he doing?
What are you doing?
Probably running 5 Cup
like,
races.
Is he ever going to go to Cup? What's he doing?
I think,
what's his plan?
I think he's just good with running Xfinity. I really do.
At this point, I would assume, because he's not. Because there's no I don't think Kyle. There's a lot of smoke around Kyle Busch. I don't think Kyle Busch is done yet. Probably not for another couple seasons. Not until Brexton's and trucks, right?
Well, no, I think he leaves RCR before he's done with Cup racing.
That's likely too. But and then Austin Dillon gets to drive that car as much as he wants, and they're not going to field a 33 full time.
There's no charter out there. It feels like for them to go buy.
Yeah. So what is he just? Maybe he is just getting Xfinity. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting because
if he wants to wait,
this has kind of been the Austin Hill. Yeah, this has just kind of been the Austin Hill, like typical. Like this is like his 3rd season doing exactly this. I don't know what.
Hey man, also, Justin Allgaier's carved himself a pretty damn good career.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's weird to me that he's only ever attempted one Daytona 500. Now that I'm looking at his stats, with how good he is at the races. Yeah.
Yeah.
This year, right? Didn't he wreck out?
No, he didn't even attempt it this year.
Oh, he wrecked
out. He was 23
last
with Beard Motorsports was his only attempt.
No, he wrecked out last year in the duels. Then.
He's not on the entry list.
Oh.
It was 2023 when he was in the 62. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Why does that feel wrong?
Yeah, like you would think that RCR would have like fielded him for the 500 or something, but it's weird.
Wow,
Probably not cost
that's
effective.
wild to me.
Because they know, like, ooh, the odds of us getting in they're not slim by any means, but
yeah.
Anyway, I just don't know what I like. The future of Austin Hill makes no sense to me.
Well, probably makes no sense to him either.
It's fair.
So.
I mean, it's probably worse.
Yeah.
Like, he's supposed to know that, man. That's his job.
Yeah, fair. All right, well, let's go ahead and get to everyone's favorite segment of the week, bottom split moments. Matt, you go first.
So my original one was going to be the weather because it's fucking hot. It's like 80 degrees and it's March, and I'm like, really? Can we get over this? But then I found out this morning that Hayden Deegan got arrested. So
for street racing.
That idiot. Yeah. So I was reading the details of it earlier. Bro was driving an Audi R8, which I don't know,
Lame.
man. I feel like you could afford a more expensive car. But then he apparently the cop saw him pull into into a parking lot and whip a donut, and then the cop turned his lights on, and then he whipped another one, and then the cop was like, all right, this punk ass is going to jail. And now this fucking clown is selling shirts with his mugshot on it.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what it's going to take for the AMA to do something about this kid. He's extremely talented, but good God, is he out of control. He's a fucking menace on track, and now he's a menace off track, too. Brian, get your son in shape. What are we doing here?
How did Haley do?
Yeah.
I don't think they care.
Oh, no. I mean, Brian Deegan doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, they're encouraging that.
Well, yeah,
Well,
and the
it's
annoying
good for
part is
clicks.
Hayden has the results to back it up. He's never gonna get criticized or suspended or reprimanded for anything because he wins races. Yeah,
I took a perusal into the Supercross subreddit and different social media channels, and it's a bizarre world.
Yeah.
It's a bizarre world. It's like me being a NASCAR fan times 1 billion. I can't imagine how that is for you, Matt.
Dude, it's literally like reading NASCAR YouTube comments from 2007. It's insane.
That's what it feels like.
God, I can't remember the website. There's a moto forum that sometimes I'll go on as a lurker, just out of morbid curiosity, and just be like, oh, I'm not these people, at least. Okay.
I'm not these people,
Yeah.
at least. It's crazy.
I'm also weirdly alone in Supercross fandom of hating Hayden Deegan, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't want to root for somebody to completely blow their career, but it would also be vindicating. So
Yeah.
Anyway, somebody else go.
Joe, what's your bottom split?
What is my bottom split? I don't know. It was a pretty good week. Honestly. Oh, did I break my phone screen before or after the podcast last week?
Before.
Yeah,
That's
that
right.
was
You
your
heard about
bottom
it.
split
Yeah.
last week.
Oh, well, it's my bottom split this week. No, 'cause I'm still upset about it. No, I don't know. Come back to me, please.
What?
Yeah.
We went to IKEA. My bottom split moment was we went to IKEA and I think I mentioned that we got lamps. We don't have light bulbs for one of the lamps, so we can't use one of the lamps right now. But
Dang.
we're gonna buy light bulbs. That's my bottom split moment.
My bottom split moment is
Joe, we're back to
my
you.
hometown bar being really lame on a Saturday night and just nothing going on and just a bunch of dudes playing pool. Yeah. And not dudes, cool dudes, frat bro looking 22-year-old dudes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
annoying.
Anywho.
You can ask them what they think about Hayden Deegan if you want.
Huh?
You can ask them what they think about Hayden Deegan.
Are you kidding
They'll probably
me?
be like,
I
yeah,
don't know,
dude.
They probably don't
some
even know
red
who
caps
Hayden
might
Deegan
come
is.
out.
I mean,
My
I'd
road
be surprised.
my road to pro moment this week was the Michigan basketball team making it to the Sweet 16. So
Hell yeah.
March Madness is fun.
Yeah, made my bracket break, man.
You're welcome.
I had no faith.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot that March Madness was happening, and then I was like, oh yeah, we're at the end already. Whoops.
Yeah, I already did my second chance bracket.
Dang. Who you got winning it all in your second chance bracket?
I think I have Duke again. Honestly, I forget.
I mean, I have
'cause
Duke
I did
winning
that today
in my
while I was
bracket.
working.
So, sorry, Noah.
Yeah, no, I think I have Duke in both.
Aw,
Sure.
dude, if we get Michigan and Michigan State in the Elite Eight, they're gonna be generational hoes mad.
My state is going to burn to a crisp if that happens. The only thing that could rival that is a Michigan-Ohio State college football playoff game.
Yeah.
Need that. Oh, that's right. We don't have games for a few days because of that. Okay, cool.
Davey, what's your Rich Pro moment?
My road pro moment. Well, finally got my passport. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I also got because the gloves that I had for karting were too small and they were hurting my hands. I got new gloves.
Nice.
So that's cool.
Cool.
I have to break those in on the sim rig because they do fit, but they are stiff. So
Yeah.
that's why they're over here.
Bet you know a thing or two about stiff things.
All right. Like, what does that mean?
Matthew, Rich Pro moment.
My road to pro moment, it's changed about 8 times. I'm going to go with the one that just happened. One of my favorite musical projects is Rob Scallon and Andrew Huang's One Day a Year band, 1st of October. And I ordered these like 3 months ago, and they finally arrived. But they're 2022 and 2024 albums on cassette.
Hell yeah.
So this is their 2024 album, Chaos. It's got this cool little like cardboard thing, but their one from last year, because a lot of the album was video game themed. It's in like a retro video game looking case with a cassette in it, so that's pretty cool. So, 1st of October, they're cool. Go listen to them.
Nice.
Go watch the making of videos too.
Nice.
Anyway,
So
Nice
Matt had
podcast.
something fun. Davey had something cool. I don't even remember what my road to pro moment was. So,
Is University of Michigan basketball.
Mike Ball.
Basketball.
Shoot the ball.
Basketball.
Kobe.
Shoot ball. Basketball.
Anyways, folks, can't thank you enough for watching this week's edition of the Fake Racers podcast. Davey, we have you for one more week before you take
Let me
leave.
make sure.
I believe.
That's correct.
So,
That's correct.
we will wish Davey a goodbye next week. So make sure you tune in for that one before he goes.
I'm not dying.
Oh, I mean,
we're firing Davey. He doesn't know that yet.
yeah. Hey,
Fuck.
hey. Anyways, so we'll be
the
talking
hell?
all things Martinsville next week. So we can't thank you enough for tuning in for that one. We're gonna thank you in advance because you're gonna tune in.
Oh, they deserve it.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't know. I don't got anything else. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. Tell us how we did, and if you hated it, please don't leave a comment because I don't want to hear it. Thank you all for watching this week's edition
Keep it
of
to yourself.
Fake Racers Podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye.